you know, to a large extent, isn't that addressing their agitation?
That is addressing the agitation.
When that agitation is
well, thank you, Laurentia. Well, let us look at this thing from this, if I may say, intelligent viewpoint. Why all this? Yeah, you raised issues from various angles. But let me say very clearly that the trial of Mazi Nnamdi, and let me say, the cause of the originating cause to address an issue. And after that, you discover that at something years after, another Ojukwu arose in the person of Ralph Wazirike, a renowned lawyer. Another Ojukwu arose in the person of Nnamdi Kanu, who is, if I may say, a pin in the eyes of Nigeria today. Because I know that Nigeria government is terrified by the emergence of this young man.
Why would you say that?
I am saying that is why you see what is happening.
A sovereign nation.
I say Nigerian government is terrified to their marrow by the emergence of this one single Igbo man. And look at, let me just paint this, let me just clarify this issue. The Nnamdi Kanu you see today has over 10,000 Nnamdi Kanu remaining. The Igbos have over 10,000 Nnamdi Kanu that are still resting. Some are still in their kindergarten. The same person. Because you see the approach that's taken by Newitu. The question we are asking ourselves, why is Igbo case different in Nigeria, where they claim we are all one Nigeria?
Fulani.
Do you know why do you know why I'm saying Fulani?
Hold on, we need to clarify that.
Okay.
That's an ethnicity. It wouldn't be fair.
But can you allow me to paint a picture that I know?
Wait, no. On my
Even what I know
on my show is very important. That this is a very sensitive conversation. You can say the herdsmen.
Let me
not Fulani.
See, okay, see, you want me to go this way, but let me obey you. But if someone killed my brother and I saw it, I think I know that person. And it would be very wrong for the law court or any media organization to tell me not to mention the man that killed my brother. In my village, we lost gallant men. Peacefully, not men who went to fight, but men who went to the aboriginal farmland to go and cultivate what they will feed on. They were killed, butchered, and dumped and covered with leaves to decay, just like that, by same people who left their own town and travel miles into my place to graze their animal, making our lives less worth than life of an animal. And look, there is a high level of provocation in Nigeria, but thank God that just as Chika Dele said, Igbos are peace-loving people. But if Nigerian people continue to take this peace for granted, maybe by the time our generation might have gone, someday generation that we rise, they'll say we can't take it anymore. Now look at why these guys were proscribed. IPOB was proscribed by Buhari government. Nobody proscribed the killer herdsmen that were killing unabated. Nobody did that. And you proscribe people who were only going out with their banners and placards. You proscribe them terrorists. Is it no wickedness? Now, you have just mentioned how Boko Haram have been dealing with lives, and Nigeria government is still negotiating with them till today. Bello Turji had terrorized Nigerian, the northern states for a long time. What military is coming to tell us his story? Now, look at how this matter came up. There were 3 men that were arrested within the same period, not the same time, but the same period of time that Nnamdi Kanu was arrested. Sunday Igboho was arrested as a secessionist too, and President of Mieti Allah was also arrested, because I saw in a video where he was training his own militia. Now, It was thank God for social media, thank God for technology. Everybody saw it in Nigeria. But you know that this man was walking about freely until Nigerians began to cry. When we raised our shout, just as we are doing now, now he was arrested. Ask me where he is today. Ask me whether that man is in jail or is still in court. He has been released and he's gone. Somebody who was trailing killers. Now look at Sunday Igboho, who does not know brought into Nigeria from Benin Republic, and whichever way they finished with Sunday Igboho is walking free today, traveling all over the world, still carrying out the same agenda. But Nnamdi Kanu, you heard him because he's an Igbo man. Look, this is highly provocative anyway, but we are not saying we should go ahead maybe to begin to fight Nigeria today. What is AGF interest in Nnamdi Kanu? What is Justice Nyako's interest in Nnamdi Kanu? Everything is very clear. But I thank God, because when we begin to manipulate things, there is an extent to which the power of man will cease. What Nnamdi Kanu did in the court is a show to the whole world how Nigeria judicial system has been balkanized. Nnamdi Kanu now had to start, somebody who is not a lawyer is now educating lawyers and SANS in Nigeria. It is a shame. I had expected the SANS, all the senior advocates of Nigeria, to gather together and begin to pray God to forgive them. Because somebody who is not a lawyer is now teaching them law. So-called senior advocates of Nigeria, both of Igbo extraction, Yoruba extraction, Hausa extraction, any tribe, they're supposed to gather and call a kind of, if I may call it a Solon Anus case, I will address it as Igbo case. The trial that is still pending in that court is the trial of Igbo nation. And I call on the governors of Igbo State, I call on the serving senators of Igbo State, I call on the serving rep members of Igbo State, every political office holder, every military man of Igbo extraction, every policeman, every Igbo person, both in business, should consider that we are in court with federal government of Nigeria. And what is our offense? We've said we are being maltreated. We are being treated. We are being reduced to second class in the same country where we claim we are indigenous. For that reason, if you cannot bring us into the mainstream of this, let us go. Now, no secession. In fact, agitation is not a criminal offense all over the world. Agitation is not a criminal offense. But they have criminalized agitation in Nigeria only on Igbo people. When it is, look, you just mentioned the case of Niger Delta. When the militants came up, you know, it started in 1999. After, 1998, 1999. Now that agitation came. At some point, a president of Nigeria, all these people say, please, what is your problem? And they explained. And the problem was addressed. Everything militancy went down. But you see, in that struggle, there were name of ESN unknown.
Because I won't choose it about it again. So what do you make of the insecurity in Southeast and the fact that IPOB has been tagged to the insecurity in Southeast? Are you saying that IPOB is not responsible for the insecurity in Southeast?
I will say categorically that Nigerian government is 100% responsible for the insecurity in the Southeast. How? It is up to you.
Why do you say that?
Do you know why I'm saying that? That's where you wouldn't have said that I'm alleging, because I said federal government of Nigeria is 100% responsible. These are men who started without shooting. Instead of you to engage them on a round table discussion, you face them with guns. You started killing them. They never for once retaliated. Nigeria, their military and all, police and other, we are killing the people from this angle, those who will come out to protest. Because I will say for the truth, if we cannot fight against constituted military authority, what about these ones who have civilians like us? Should we also fold our hands like this and they will be killing us? That was what brought about ESN, Eastern Security Network. And I will tell you that these men did excellently well by repelling these people back. I may not tell you details beyond this, but there are more to what we know that happened that we are keeping to ourselves. Now, this ESN began to, before you know it, some misgrunted, permit me to use the word misgrunted politicians. Disgruntled politicians within the Igbo sector began to launch for Ebubago, to use Ebubago to fight ESN. What was the problem of ESN? That ESN will say, if these herdsmen will enter, we will see them, and instead of allowing them, now these misgruntled politicians formed the Ebubago, and their Ebubago began. Now, if they see ESN, they will kill. Now, somebody who is coming to kill you, you will also kill. Before we know it, criminals infiltrated the same group. We kept on shouting, even as I'm shouting now. Federal government, don't allow this thing to escalate. Don't allow this thing to escalate. Release this young. At some point, Nnamdi Kanu said that if I come out today, within 24 hours, Southeast will settle. Why? Because he knows that those who are agitating, those who are feeling bad, those who are going out to shout, is shouting because of him. He can come out and tell them, men, I am out. Let me discuss with federal government and things will be settled. But federal government never allowed that. Why they were discussing with Boko Haram, negotiating with bandits, negotiating with militants, when it comes to Southeast, there had never been negotiation. I had when Chizi said that they have negotiated with Nnamdi Kanu. The question I want to ask you is where? Who was in that room, negotiating room? No negotiation. You don't want to negotiate with Southeast. Look, they kept on holding Nnamdi Kanu until it seemed as if the power of the IPOB will come down. And another one rose from somewhere in Finland.
All right.
Haba, let federal government treat this man.
As I talk with you, the IPOB is not militant. Like I've said that when we were in the university, I said each time we were going out for demonstration, there are persons who take advantage of.
It's very important that we see what is on the headline. Cheesy, sorry. It says this is a news headline in the past where the presidency said
Killer herdsmen are not terrorists.
Yes.
Yes.
This was during the administration of
Muhammad Buhari. Yes, I'm not saying that. Like, you remember when I was saying something, I said, don't compare IPOB with herdsmen. Don't compare IPOB with the Boko Haram. I did say that because they are not terrorist organization. They are not even militant by nature. They're only negotiating within the civil right. If you look at even the language of Kanu, and so if you begin to say that Nnamdi Kanu, if you begin to look at what Nnamdi Kanu is saying, you will understand that the guy is being civil in his approach to certain things. But when you begin to say, when the federal government refused to do this, and then they grew, it looks like IPOB became militant and then began to kill. Please let me say, I listen to you. It looks like they begin to kill. But if you say, for instance, there are people who are taking advantage. In his open speech, I'm talking about this second phase. Yes. He did say something that those dissidents who are taking advantage of this should be killed. He said so. Even in that's our language. I thought they don't support negotiating with terrorists at all. But I can tell you that let the federal government do what they're supposed to do as regards the IPOB. I'm not talking about the NSN or whatever. For me, those people can deal with them. But on this person, first you remove who are you dealing with. Oh, no, don't write WAEC. Who am I dealing with? Don't be part of the external exams. Who am I dealing with? This at a time in 2 years, Southeast didn't write WAEC. You are even marginalizing yourself by doing all of that, killing innocent people, killing people who were supposed to support and even lead the Southeast in case anything happened. All I'm saying is that federal government, give them the referendum. All the states they have conscribed, bring referendum and let them do. And if you do that, I will now know whether Nze will vote for or against the referendum who they left. And I asked why. I said there are negotiations that are not open. Let me tell you, a security thing. There are negotiations done when a man that Nnamdi Kanu is still there today means that Nnamdi Kanu has integrity, knows what he's fighting. They are negotiating with him, but he is saying no, do it unconditionally, do this. But for these other persons, they will take whatever they wanted to take and then go down. You won't understand it. It's a different ballgame. These are not negotiations that they will come and say like militant, okay, we're going to talk to militant, because he's not a militant. The negotiation is like what happened to Nelson Mandela, what happened to, I will not allow that. So I think I give him kudos. It's mean that I don't support Biafra. I give him the kudos for standing still. If you say there's no negotiation, then we lie. But I can tell you that they are meeting him. There are persons they are sending to him. You notice that there are Igbo big men they are sending to them. They're not just sending them. They're just telling them to say, guys, can you stop this way and do this way? And the man says, no. Organize a referendum for us. And so, if there's anything anybody should be talking about is that the Nigerian government should organize a referendum and then let Nnamdi Kanu be released unconditionally. He's not carrying arms. The man say he's not carrying arms. Bring him here. Let him argue. Let him begin to say what he's saying, and then go around and campaign for his people. If he loses it's okay. If he don't lose it, it's okay. Then if he loses it, and then he continues with it, then you can declare him terrorist group. Of course, that's true.
Now, still talking about the federal government's approach to the issue of Nnamdi Kanu and the IPOB agitation. You know, I also brought in that of the Niger Delta agitation. I will also go back to that Niger Delta agitation because the military
helicopter.
The helicopter was flying over his house and he was going to shoot them down. And then after that, he kept quiet. But I can tell you that even one of the other arrowheads of the Niger Delta agitation, who has his own military as well, has a running contract with the federal government. He's using his own personal military to guide the waterways of the federal government. I mean, it's still the same.
His own security outfit, not military.
Well,
you have a right to register.
You have a right to register security
outfits. Yes.
With what equipment? What sophisticated level of equipment?
I'm sure you haven't seen them.
Well, we are saying the same thing.
I have said.
Can I comment?
Are these give those arrowheads that a repentant militant?
Yes.
Probably has repented because you can't be a militant without having
they have repented.
Those things are still there, and now we are saying the same thing.
No.
Now has transited. There is a transition.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is this: if the federal government has been so magnanimous with the Niger Delta agitation, even right now as we speak, a group of the Niger Delta, the Ogonis, have been agitating over a while.
Yeah.
And right now, the federal government
killed the arrowhead. Should they kill Nnamdi Kanu?
Hold on. The federal government right now has listened, and something is going on in Ogonis
now. Yes.
As it stands now. Why can't the same magnanimity be extended? Now, why can't we look at political solution for Nnamdi Kanu's situation, considering that this, to a large extent, is a person of interest to the Southeast, and to a large extent, it will help in opening doors.
What will be the political solution other than referendum? Should they give the presidency? Yes.
You said two things: referendum one, and on the other hand,
development.
Releasing Nnamdi Kanu.
Strict. Before even the referendum, Nnamdi Kanu should be released.
The third one, you talked about governance.
Yeah.
Showing the Southeast that they are also part of Nigeria.
Sure.
That's what you're saying.
That's what I've said.
To a large extent, that for you is the political solution.
Yes.
Nze, as we round up this show, you have been itching to say something, so you now have the floor. I will also ask you that question.
First, I will come to
solution as a way out.
I will come to that the question, and I will also make mention of the way the Niger Delta agitation arrowheads are being treated or have been treated. Let me come to something to point here. In the issue of sit at home in the Southeast,
okay,
what is it?
The federal government that is, and some politicians who are saying there should be no sit at home, are doing it as lovers of Igbo, but indirectly manifesting their hatred for the Igbos. What brought about sit at home? You said it is crippling the economic activities in the Southeast, blah, 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 blah. How? This sit at home was initiated by Ralph Wazirike in 2002. Because of this marginalization, So on a certain time, the entire Masop declared that all Igbos will sit at home as a protest to the federal government. Somebody said, I will not eat because of what you are doing to me. He's punishing himself. He's abstaining from food because of what you are doing to him. Now, this thing happened that very day. The entire, because the Igbos in the southeast, Igbos in all over Nigeria sat back and the whole Nigeria shook. Tafa Balogu, the then Inspector General of Police, raised an issue. And I was personally invited by the Commissioner of Police, Audu Mohammed, not Mohammed, but his name is Audu, Commissioner of Police, right. FCT. He invited me to his office, and I went there. For 5 days, we were discussing matters. What happened? And I defended Igbo people. And Pastor came there to meet me. Ezigbo Wosu came there to meet me. Okwinwodo came there to meet me. Anyanwu, my very good friend. Okpaki Ibuku of blessed memory came there. Several of Igbo prominent people came to me. And I told them, is it not Igbo cause? We will defend it. And at the end of the day, when the man could find nothing, he used a minuted on the petition they wrote against me and sent me to a CIB. And we finished with CIB and I got myself free. Now, look at it. It has come to the time of... He said, if they don't allow us, we will protest by sitting at home. We will no longer come to the road. Since if we come out to the road, you will begin to kill us. We will now stay in the house. Let's see if you kill us in the house. But look at why that was happening. They say we'll sit at home, releasing Nnamdi Kanu for us. They refuse to release Nnamdi Kanu. Now, some people started pushing in, let's see, that they sit at home, will not allow this, will not allow this. They started releasing people. And some other people came up by Simon Ekpa, who began to recruit his own men, actually fighting the same cause, but in a different dimension. And I never liked that. I know I have spoken over and over. I said, if I can get contact of Simon Ekpa, I know he will insult me, but I'll first introduce myself to him, because he should be able to know Nze. If I tell him, hey boy, the way you are going about this thing is wrong. Instead, go like this. Go. I don't want to join issues with IPOB. I'm not a member of IPOB. I will never be a member of IPOB. But I know that if by today or tomorrow, Biafra is carved out, I'll be an indigenous of Biafra, because that is my birth. I can't deny Igbo. It runs in my blood. So you see that the issue of sit at home, that they now used to kill people, maim people, that some criminal elements infiltrated and started committing crimes, brandishing their guns in the name of Biafra land, the land of rising sun, blah, 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 blah. Whereas you're a criminal, only hiding under the agitation of IPOB to kill people, to maim. You see a vehicle that you don't know, somebody that is traveling from Kaduna that want to head to Port Harcourt maybe before morning, because the vehicle is carrying a perishable good. And if he should stay that one day on the road, both money, both the goods, everything we lost, you catch the vehicle and set it on fire. You're a madman by doing that. You see somebody who is driving his family, you don't know the problem that they are running into. They are running to meet up, and you stop them, you set the vehicle ablaze, sometimes you kill them. You're a madman. You are not an Igbo man.
Yeah, languages.
Yeah, so that person is not doing well. That person who kills because of sit at home is not doing well. But enforcing sit at home to a large extent may be civil if they do it without arms. So, but now coming to the whole issue, you see that all these prominent Igbo arrowheads who are fighting and agitating for IPOB have not really been handled in any way. Rather, look at in the Niger Delta, most of the people who agitated, some of them are holding traditional title today. Some of them still have their squad. You call them army, but I will also call them army. In as much as I will not describe them as Nigerian, but they are army, because any group that have weapons to fight and defend themselves is an army. So now they have their own army, and the federal government know about it. Tell me one man in Southeast that has an army that the government know about that they have not gone to. Now you hear that they have gone to what is it called, in Olu? They have gone to Okigwe. They have gone to Okwe. They have gone to what is it called in Anambra State, Ihiala. They are anywhere they see anything that look like gathering of people with arms, they will go and unleash their this on that in that place and scatter them. Yes, it is a persecution of the Igbos. Let Nigerians know. Let Hausas, Fulanis, Yorubas, Ibibios, all the ethnic groups in Nigeria know that the leaders of Nigeria are playing the script of the Igbo man, called the Europeans, who came, in fact, the British. It is the same script they're playing to keep Igbo people down, because they felt that Igbos are a threat to them. Leave an Igbo man, you see, he will transform Nigeria. Since he said that Igbos cannot lead themselves, it is not. Come around my organization I handle, and you see leadership.
That is not
we have excellency in terms of leadership.
That is not what I said.
What Chizzy is saying is
That's
an
not what I
entirely different thing.
But saying that the Igbos cannot lead themselves, it's not.
Chizzy is saying, in fact, let me rephrase what he has said. In the cities or states in Nigeria, the states in Southeast has, one could say, have suffered the worst governance. For example, Abia State. Abia State, I mean, for the past 16, 18 years, has been governed by Igbo people. Ojuzo, Kalu.
Disgruntled politicians. I keep on saying disgruntled. What is happening today in Abia? What is happening today?
Hold on. Ojuzo, Kalu. T.A. Oji. Okezie Ibazu.
All of them did 8 years.
Hold on. Until Alex Oti,
who is also Igbo man,
until Alex Oti now came, one would say that Chizzy was not out of place if he makes that allusion, because to a large extent, Abia State was not governed, whether disgruntled or not, they are Igbos. So one would say, to what extent have you led your people? To what extent have you brought in development? To what extent was that done?
If I may give a point to this.
Look at that, you can't leave that under the.
But let me make a point there.
And you say Igbo politicians have done excellent.
No, is that not why I'm with them? Look,